All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, a very, very happy Harris Sultan. I am thrilled because the age of woke lunacy has come to an abrupt end and common sense has finally prevailed. I believe this defeat will push decent leftists to reflect on their mistakes and they won't continue down the path of self-destruction. They will think twice before putting far-left radicals like Kamala Harris in as their representatives.
I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's not just America that has dodged a bullet. The entire Western world has narrowly avoided civilizational death. 8 years ago, I was one of those people heading down the path of the Wokistanis. But now, the age of censorship and bullying those who disagree with far-left ideologues, the age of identity politics, race baiting, is over. If my daughter or yours becomes an athlete, she won't have to compete with men. If you and I hold views not accepted by far-left ideologues, we won't be silenced by lawsuits and cancel culture. We won't have to watch our towns and cities turn into ghettos due to uncontrolled migration. I sincerely hope that Trump delivers on his promise of mass deportation and leads by example, not victimizing his opponents as they did to him.
21 million people, that's bigger than New York, and we have to stop it. And we have to do the largest deportation in the history of...
I hope the American economy will again become the world's strongest and that America's enemies will once again fear it. Islamists will no longer feel that they can start wars without a response from America. It's widely believed that Trump once told Putin, "If you invade Ukraine, I will bomb Moscow." To which Putin reportedly replied, "No, you won't." Trump answered, Vlad, yes, I really would." That said, I am concerned about Ukraine. I worry Trump will push for a ceasefire, forcing Ukraine to cede territory to a dictator like Putin. I genuinely hope that once Trump assumes office, the Pentagon and other advisors will dissuade him from abandoning Ukraine, because protecting Ukraine is in the interest of America. America is the leader of the free world, and we can't abandon small democracies to mad dictators like Putin or Xi Jinping. Interestingly, some Ukrainians seem to support Trump over Kamala Harris, hoping he will use strong language with Putin, saying things like, "I'll bomb Moscow." They see Trump's comment about Zelensky as a great salesman, not as a diss, but as a compliment because Trump admires smart people. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but apart from Ukraine, I am really excited to see Trump fully supporting Israel. If Putin is celebrating, I doubt China and Iran are. They know Trump would respond harshly if they crossed the line. Looking at these elections, let's reflect on why Kamala lost. Kamala was put in after Biden was pressured to withdraw from the race. Had the Democrats not insisted Biden was 100% mentally fit, they could have gone through the primaries to find a stronger candidate. Kamala can barely string a sentence together.
Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days.
Many theories explain why, but for the life of me, I can't understand how a former prosecutor could be so inept at articulating her points. She surely can't be that stupid. It's probably that her radical past positions aren't fit for a presidential candidate. She couldn't maintain her stance on open borders or offering sex change surgeries to migrants, positions even sane Democrats would reject. Her interviews were disastrous, although she surprised me in her debate against Trump. But you can't fool everyone all the time. Eventually, she ended up speaking from both sides of her mouth. Take a look at this clip of her appealing to Muslim voters favoring Palestinians.
Tonight, mixed messages. A K-file investigation this hour finds Kamala Harris is targeting crucial battleground voters with vastly different messages on Gaza and Israel. This ad is running in Michigan, which has the largest Arab population in America.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
But when she saw Jewish votes, she totally flipped and said this.
All right, well, it's a very different story for an ad in Pennsylvania targeting Jewish voters.
Let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
In the end, she lost both Jewish and Muslim support. Even Obama expressed frustration, questioning why Muslims would back a candidate so pro-Israel and who previously introduced a Muslim ban.
Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American, and you are heartbroken and furious about the ongoing bloodshed in the Middle East and worried about the rise of anti-Semitism. Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban? Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers? Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
Muslims often respond well to flattery. Just say you converted to Islam or sing praises about Muhammad and they will go to the ends of the world for you. But they won't tolerate duplicity. This is why some Muslims even endorse Trump, preferring an honest enemy to a dishonest friend. That's what Kamala came across as, which is why she lost Michigan. Now let's look at why Trump won. The left kept peddling lies about Trump, labeling him a fascist. They continually criticize him for his off-the-cuff remarks, which by now most American voters understand as simply Trump being Trump. Trump doesn't like teleprompters or speeches carefully crafted with diplomatic norms in mind. He doesn't care about diplomatic conventions, and people appreciate that. I don't want my president or prime minister to read a speech from a teleprompter written by a professional speechwriter. I want them to speak to me in the language we use every day, and then use that same language with other world leaders, including our adversaries. I'll give you an example how the left just watches for Trump to slip up. In his victory speech, when Trump praised Elon Musk, he said, "We must protect our geniuses, and believe me, we don't have many." A few minutes later, he added, "America is the greatest country, and we have many great people." Now, the left might ask, well, which one is it? Do we have great people or we don't? Do we have geniuses or we don't? But as an honest observer, I can clearly see what he meant. This is why when he says things like, "I'm going to be a dictator for a day," or "I want generals like the ones Hitler had," it's obviously hyperbolic language. And why I am not as worried about Trump's presidency this time around? Because we've seen his first 4 years. He didn't press the nuclear button, and he didn't suppress protesters, even though he had good reasons to. He adhered to American democratic principles. Aside from Fox, the entire US media demonized him for 4 years, but it didn't retaliate. Or maybe he couldn't. This wasn't necessarily because he's a true Democrat at heart, but because America has institutions and safeguards that are stronger than any one president. America isn't 1930s Germany where a figure like Hitler could dismantle democracy from within. They called him racist, yet he garnered more black, Latino, and even Muslim votes than any other Republican in history. Who said the Republican Party was the party of whites? The Democrats, on the other hand, who constantly virtue signal their sanctimonious self-righteousness about race, gender, and religion, ended up losing on that front too. This is what happens when your words don't match your actions. The Democrats have done more harm than good to Black and Latino communities. Hardworking Black and Latino individuals feel insulted when Democrats lump them into a victim category as though they are somehow special cases whenever a black criminal is killed by the police. This reminds me of a Morgan Freeman's interview when he was asked if America should have Black History Month. Check it out.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Decent people, regardless of race, don't want to be categorized as victims. The age of crying victim is over. They are individuals and want to be seen as such, not as members of a special victim group. In my view, this is the worst kind of racism. If a white person is killed in a police shootout, no one says, oh, whites are victims of police brutality. We see whites as individuals, so why can't we extend the same courtesy to blacks and browns and other racial groups? The people of America could see through this. The left didn't learn from their mistakes in 2016. Smearing Trump for his casual remarks won't defeat him. Maybe some anti-Trump people are suffering from the last stage of Trump derangement syndrome, that they genuinely believe that he will turn America into a fascist state. Well, there's only one way to find out, and my bet is that he'll make America great again. And lastly, the pollsters and media lied again, claiming the election would be so close that we wouldn't know the winner for days after the final vote. Yet, Trump won so decisively that even CNN acknowledged his victory in the early hours of November 6th. I guess Elon was right again when he suggested ditching traditional polls in favor of betting odds where real money is at stake, because nobody wants to lose money for their political beliefs. So I hope you are as thrilled as I am on this historic day. Let's hope Trump doesn't disappoint and that the left won't spend the next 4 years demonizing him as they did before. Trump hasn't just won the presidency, he's also secured the Senate, and the House of Representatives is already Republican. I think the journey to making America great again has already begun. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support this channel, head over to harrysult.com to buy a t-shirt or hoodie, or become a patron for early access to uncensored videos, or buy me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/Harris Sultan. Fun days are ahead. Until next time, ta-da. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/Harris Sultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.